Welcome back, nerds and nerdettes. We are joined by the amazingly talented fellow nerd, Beth Crowley. And Beth,
Hello.
first I have to start off by saying, I don't know if you watched Supernatural, but I immediately took to your last name because he's in my
I
top
get that a
3
lot.
favorite characters.
Yes,
Yeah.
I get that a lot. I have not watched Supernatural, but it's probably one of the things I get like most requested to watch and to write a song about. So
You should.
That makes sense.
You should.
I'm overdue for it.
You should play Crowley.
There you go.
Or like you could even do a cover of Ozzy Osbourne's Mr. Crowley. That'd be cool too.
I get that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then when Downton Abbey was really popular, I got a lot of Crawley because that's
yes.
a classy British way to say it. So
Great show.
Well, that sort of leads me into one of the questions that I have, just since we're talking about it. So I know that you did in the end for The Witcher, and if I'm understanding this right, that's like a Geralt and Yennefer perspective. Is that the idea there? Okay. Yeah. There's also a Game of Thrones song, Empire, which I loved. I heard that one today, and then stumbled onto the Hunger Games song as well. Yep. Are there any other songs that are on YouTube or that you've released that are inspired by any of these nerd culture?
Yes. Let's see. So I've got a Harry Potter song called Always. I've got a Riverdale song called Too Late for Me. And then I've got a ton of songs that are based on like young adult book series, like Hunger Games, The Mortal Instruments by Cassandra Clare, the Game of Thrones, or not Game of Thrones, Court of Thorns and Roses and Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. So yeah, like probably, I think at this point I've probably done like 20 or 25 like book or, pop culture inspired songs.
And can you think of anything that you want to do or that you've got in the works that you've not quite gotten to yet that you really want to do?
Yeah, so after watching Loki, I am thinking that I want to do because I think his like character arc is so fascinating.
Sure.
So I actually started I want to watch all of the like movies that Loki is in. So we started with the Avengers, like original Avengers, or no. Thor, yes. Yeah. So started with Thor, and so I'm like taking notes, and so that's going to be my next like big pop culture thing to tackle is Loki inspired song.
Can't wait. We'll be looking forward to that.
Absolutely. Have you read Lord of the Rings? Are you a Lord of the Rings fan?
I have not read them. I've seen the movies, but it's been a hot minute.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be another good one too.
Another good one.
Yeah.
Also, with the series coming out and the books being young adult and fantasy, you should check out Wheel of Time.
Okay.
That would be that's a good book series. It really is.
I'm always looking for good inspiration. So I've got a list of stuff to like read and watch that is astronomical. I will not get through it in this lifetime, but
I'm in the same boat. I totally get it. Yeah. Okay, so how did you get started in music to begin with?
I mean, music has been something I've always been involved with in some capacity. Started writing like really terrible like heartbreak songs in high school about boys that didn't know I existed. And then like through college, I kind of got out of songwriting and got back into it after graduating college. And had put, I don't know if you've ever seen, there's a comedy group called Axis of Awesome, and they did this video. It's the 4-chord song because most pop songs, the 4-chord.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. So I thought that was just the funniest thing in the world. And so at that point, we had just moved. I didn't know anybody where I lived. And I was just like, I'm going to do something stupid and dumb and fun. And I'm going to like do a similar mashup of songs, but I want it to have like an actual story narrative. So that was my first YouTube video, and I put it up on YouTube just because like that was the easiest way to be able to share it with my friends and family, because I was like, this is what my unemployment looks like. And it ended up getting picked up by like BuzzFeed and Tyler Oakley, who was super big on Tumblr at the time. And like all of a sudden I had this audience, and I'm like, okay, well, what am I going to do with you? So I started putting out some of my like original songs, and then a couple years later I did my first book-based song, because at that point I realized, like, all right, I'm, you know, married, like my life is boring. Nobody wants a song about like, yeah, like we didn't know what to get for dinner, so we just went and got fast food and like went to bed at 9:30.
I relate to that song though.
I mean, right.
That's
like
my life right now too.
It's pretty universal, but not that exciting for people to listen to. So I was like, what would be a good like songwriting challenge? And I was like, well, what if I took, you know, put myself in like a character and, you know, wrote a song based on that. And it was really well received, and it was something that people really liked, and then kind of the rest was history.
Yeah, it definitely worked.
Well, I mean, you're sitting at over 150,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah.
What's that been like? I mean, did you see more growth during the pandemic, or was it quick, and has it just been constant?
It has been a decade in the making. Like literally October 2011 was my like first YouTube video. So we're coming up on 10 years of doing this.
Wow.
So it's been a very like slow and steady growth. In some ways, obviously that can be kind of frustrating, because, you know, you're just like, I just want like, you know, I just want people to hear my stuff. But like, I think it's been more gratifying that it's been the slow build, because, you know, I think it means more when
you appreciate it more, I would say,
Yeah.
once that happens.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Sure,
So,
sure.
yeah, it was wild. I think I hit 150,000 subscribers like last week. So that was very, very cool and weird.
Yeah. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
So what point do you get one of those cool little medals from YouTube? I don't know how that works.
I got a plaque at 100,000.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's great.
So that's hardware to put up.
So I was an English major, so I am all about the words. Okay,
Yes.
the lyrics. I'm one of those, let's look at the song lyrics and let's really, you know, decipher what it means and all this stuff. So I have some lyrics here from The Warrior. Okay, and if you don't mind, I'll just read these real quick. Teach me how to fight. I'll show you how to win. You're my mortal flaw, and I'm your fatal sin. I love that. Hooked me right away. I love that. Let me feel the sting, the pain, the burn under my skin. Put me to the test. I'll prove that I'm strong. Won't let myself believe that what we feel is wrong. I finally see what you knew is inside me all along, that behind this soft exterior lies a warrior, lies a warrior. How do you come up with this stuff? What was the inspiration for that song in particular?
Okay, so Warrior is based on the Mortal Instrument series by Cassandra Clare. And what I wanted to do when I was writing it is I wanted to have lots of little Easter eggs for people that have read the book, but I also wanted it to be something that if you hadn't read the book, you could still enjoy the song. So little things like the sting, the pain, the burn under my skin, they have this, it's called, I think, like a steely, and they're able to like put like rune marks on themselves as shadow hunters, and it gives them, you know, different abilities or whatever. So that was kind of like my little nod to that. Yeah, I mean, like, you know, what we feel is wrong, like, you know, it's all kind of an alluding to like two of the characters. And so, yeah, I mean, a lot of it, like I literally have the copy of the book that I went through and like put post-it notes of like words or concepts that I liked, and, you know, kind of built it from there. And it's never like, you know, anything that's like a direct quote from the book, but it, you know, little like things here and there that, that you know, fans of the books can recognize.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I would love if you came up with some sort of Lord of the Rings, Middle Earth type thing, because there's this, I guess, thinking about the In the End song with, you know, The Witcher and all that makes me think about in Lord of the Rings, there's this great story about Arwen and Aragorn, and and there's this story about this ancient elf, and she traded in her immortality to live a mortal life with this man she loved, right? And that right there is, it just, that would be perfect for this style and this genre that you have.
Yeah.
In the end video, who is you're obviously playing Yennefer,
sort of.
Who's playing Geralt?
Like the actor?
The actor.
Yeah, okay, so his name is Christian Grimson, and this was definitely like the biggest music video project I've ever done by far. So I actually had like a director, and we had like a, like casting submission, and people like, sent in their like headshots and whatever, like, and he was just kind of perfect. Like he very much has that like,
Geralt look.
He looks like,
or even
yeah,
like kind of, like he looks like he belongs in some sort of like fantasy.
fantasy.
On the front of the cover too. Like he looks like
Yeah.
he's on the front of the cover of the book.
Yeah, it was super annoying because he is as nice as he is handsome, and I was just like, you don't get to be both. Like this is ridiculous. But no, he's the nicest guy, and I don't think he had seen The Witcher, so he went and watched it, but he was right in the middle of watching Outlander, so he was kind of in that like,
Oh, that fits too.
Great
yeah.
show.
yeah. So yeah, but it was really important to me with the music video to have, again, a lot of kind of the little like Easter eggs, especially when it came to the like witch's den kind of thing that we had, but not be, like completely ripping off the show.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, Christian was great. Super consummate professional. And
yeah, some poor sap's walking around with nothing because this dude had it all. I mean, he looked like a mixture of Geralt and Fabio
and Aragorn.
Yeah.
It was like a little bit intimidating. Like
it was a great video.
Like I have a person I've been working with for a long time that does my hair and makeup, and like I was just like, all right, you need to work your just best magic on me because I've got like a high bar to try and match here.
Well, you both looked great, and it was a great video. Really, really great.
Thank you.
So everybody definitely check that out.
Before we move on, I have to say that when your PR rep contacted us, I immediately started listening and following you and all that. The song that I have to ask is "I Am Not Nothing."
Yes.
That, out of everything I've listened to so far, maybe it's because I felt it at a very personal level. Telling someone, "Let me show you now that let me pick myself up and show you that I'm not nothing." Especially after, anytime you go through something tragic. Where did that song come from?
So I guess it's probably been like 5 or 6 years ago. There was a book conference in Nashville called Utopia. And I went just like to go for fun. And I ended up meeting and connecting with a lot of independent authors there. And I had a couple of them actually contact me and say, like, do you do commission songs? Like, we, have this book coming out. Like, is that something you would consider doing? And at the time I didn't, I had like this space in my calendar and everything to be able to do it. And so that one I think was the third one of those that I had done. And the author contacted me and she was like, I have this fantasy book, but it also, one of the themes in it is domestic abuse. And she was like, I would really like the song to incorporate something having to do with that. And that was definitely intimidating because I'm very fortunate that I don't have any firsthand experience. So it's really important for me to write something that felt genuine, even though it's not, something that I've been through. And so I worked pretty closely with her, like, sending her kind of my ideas and everything, and she would give me some feedback. And so that one's really special because I know that a lot of people have really connected with it. And I know there's been a few like domestic abuse survivor groups that have used it for various things. And
I can tell you that I've not been through domestic abuse, but just the words about getting up and picking yourself up and proving to the other person that you aren't nothing. The first time I heard it, I kind of like had a vibration on my iWatch that said breathe. I like had to tell me to breathe because it just took all my breath away. I was like, oh my God, that's beautiful. And I had to listen to it another 5 times. But it's very powerful. That's one that I would definitely recommend everyone get on iTunes. I am not nothing.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure that even though kind of the thing in the back of my mind was like the domestic abuse aspect, that it was something universal enough that like, and that's just in general important to me with my music, is even if I'm writing about something very specific, to try and make it so that people can relate to it, even if it's not exactly what I had in mind when I was writing. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
So can you take us a little bit through the songwriting process? So you get an idea or you're inspired by something. Now, where do you go? Where do you start?
It really just kind of depends on the song. I always say I do my best work like in the shower, because there's nothing to distract me. So I'll just be like humming along, or I'll think of like a little lyric, and it usually starts with like a lyric and melody snippet, just something really short. Maybe it's like a particular word, maybe it's a particular phrase, or a lot of times most of my songs, I have some sort of narrative that I've come up with, like there are characters and it's, a scene that is playing out. And then I just kind of build it from there. Sometimes it comes pretty easily. Sometimes I'm just banging my head against the wall, trying to like, it feels like putting together a jigsaw puzzle, and you're trying to like fit different pieces, and you're like, okay, that doesn't go there. And it's like it's a very analytical process. But just like you, I love lyrics. Like I love language, I love words. I think that a good song lyrically is just like poetry set to music. And so
absolutely,
that I think is definitely my primary focus, is having strong lyrics, and then kind of the music supports that.
And you do the lyric writing, the composing, all of it yourself, right?
Yep.
Wow.
And I've worked with the same producer now for 6 or 7 years, and so I bring in the finished song, piano and vocal, and then we kind of flesh it out from there. And just because we've worked together for so long, like we have a great working relationship. And so definitely with him, his name's Daniel, and together we definitely elevate it to like something way cooler than anything I can do, just like me and a piano. But
how many songs do you think you've written total?
Gosh, most of the ones that I've written I put out. Like I know a lot of songwriters talk about how they have like, they're like, for every song I've put out, I have, 45 that I didn't. Like I put out everything that I write. So a lot.
I don't know if it's true, but I'm sure it could be. But I've heard before that Dolly Parton has like 10,000 something songs that she has written herself.
Yeah.
And that's just, she's had a career of like 60 years or so. So
I am not that prolific. She wrote Jolene and I Will Always Love You in the same day.
That I didn't know. In the same day. I didn't know that one. Wow. Yep. You taught us something.
So you're a fan of Dolly?
She's an American treasure. Like, so much respect for that woman.
We're coming to you from East Tennessee, so we're in Dolly's backyard here.
We are.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
40 minutes down the road.
I literally just moved to Georgia in June from the Nashville area. So
now you were born and raised in Nashville?
I am from Georgia originally, and then lived in Tennessee for 7 or 8 years. And after, this last year and a half, like my family is in Georgia and a lot of my friends. And so just was like, all right, like time to go home. But I'm actually, I'm coming to you from a hotel room actually in Nashville, because I'm here to record for a couple days. So
awesome.
So yeah, so I still make it back.
Well, that's cool. So you live outside of Atlanta?
Yep. I live like a mile and a half from the Braves Stadium.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm a Cincinnati Reds fan, so I don't think that's that cool, I guess. But
it
is cool. It is pretty cool. I do have a really good friend who actually listens to the show, Kira. She obviously lives very close to you, because she too lives like 2 miles from Brave Stadium, or But I lived there I initially had the bravery, I like to call it,
the courage,
courage to oh, that's another one, Wizard of Oz. You should do a Wizard of Oz song.
That'd be great.
Ooh, that could be interesting.
Yeah.
I had the courage to move to the Atlanta area pre-pandemic, 5 weeks before the pandemic, actually, to pursue acting. And then the pandemic hit and I just didn't go back. So the Atlanta area, there's a lot happening.
Yeah.
A lot happening there.
The Hollywood of the South.
It is.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of crazy. Definitely.
So I hope you'll take this as a compliment because I definitely mean it as one, but you strongly give me Amy Lee of Evanescence vibes. And I'm sure you, and because I just absolutely fell in love with the way she plays the piano and her songwriting and all that. I was a big Evanescence fan when I was in high school and stuff. So I decided I wanted to learn the piano, and I was self-taught. And so she was like a big inspiration to me. And all morning, my wife and I and our 3-year-old, who is now loving your music, we were listening, had you on YouTube while we were having breakfast and everything. And we just kept talking about, oh man, this is so like Amy Lee. I feel like this is like Amy Lee stuff. So is she an inspiration of yours at all?
Yeah, I especially like was it Evanescence's first album that had like
My Immortal?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, so I hate to interrupt, but any chance he got to play My Immortal on the piano,
I think at one point I covered it on my YouTube channel.
Oh, I'll have to look for that. That's like one of those songs that you want played at your funeral. It's like such a beautiful, haunting song. And the words, like we said, so powerful. Have you seen the video for that?
I have.
Her feet don't touch the ground at any point in the video.
Oh wow. It's been a long time since I've watched it. I'll have to go back and watch it. Yeah. And then I loved that they put out the version, because like it was just a piano version on their album, and then they had the I guess radio version, and it had that like that was awesome. Yeah. That was
I love both versions.
Yeah. Yeah.
So do you play anything other than the piano?
No, I started to try and learn guitar, but I've got such like sensitive fingers from just playing piano that I was like, this is so painful. So I didn't follow through on that. And then I had like a mid-20s like quarter life crisis where I was like, I'm not too old to learn how to play the violin. And so I tried to take up the violin, and I got really frustrated really fast.
Oh yeah.
So that didn't stick either.
On the piano, it's like everything is laid out. It's in a row, A, B, C, D, whatever. And then on a guitar, it's like, well, this is a G and this is an A, and it's all over the place.
Well, yeah.
So I can't do it.
At 30.
Now, I definitely regret it whenever I like have to haul my keyboard around for like, playing a show or something. I'm like, man, I should have picked a more portable instrument. This is so.
You do a lot of live?
Not a ton. I mean, the internet has been like my bread and butter. So, you mentioned like the pandemic, like nothing really changed for me during the pandemic because I was already doing most everything online. So I just kind of kept on doing what I was doing. But it was funny because like beforehand, people, especially in the music industry, would be like, what do you mean you don't play any live shows? I'm like, I mean, my audience, because it's online, is so spread out. I don't have enough of a concentration of people that listen to my music in any one place that it would make sense doing a show. Now, I'll tell you what I did really enjoy was I have been able to play some like author events and book festivals. So like an author signing, I've played a couple where I've written a song about like one of their books, and they had a new release come out, and we're doing a book signing and got to like play at their book signing, and that was like a perfect gig for me. But I mean, as far as doing a lot of touring or anything, I haven't, and I've been totally fine with that.
So you obviously surely you were in like choir and things like that in school. When did you know that? Was it like fresh out of high school you were like, you know what, I know what I want to do, I know what I'm chasing it, or did you just be like, this is something that may take off? Or it may not. Like, what was it like growing up with this love for music, and when did you just start going for it?
I just did it for fun. I never had any plan of actually doing it professionally. I, went to college. At one point, I think I might have said I was an English major, but I switched over to public relations. And I thought that I actually wanted to, when I came to Nashville, I thought I was going to do just the songwriting part of it and like write for other people. And I ended up like meeting up with somebody at some like, I don't know, writers event or something. And they were like, you realize like you are, I was like, I'm not really trying to do the artist thing. And they were like, you already are an artist. Like you already have like a decent following online. Like you're kind of already doing it. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll keep doing it this way. And then I didn't quit my like day desk job until 2019. So I, even when I was doing it and was able to like essentially be doing it part-time, I still didn't feel like, this is what I'm going to be when I grow up. And, finally a couple years ago, I was like, okay, like, I think this is what I'm doing now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been really great. I mean, I feel very, very lucky because I know a lot of people, want to be able to do something creative full time, and I am able to, and it's fantastic.
It's great. It's great.
Out of all of the songs that you've done, which one do you feel like is either your favorite, that you're the most proud of, or that means the most to you on a personal level?
I mean, it's hard to pick a favorite or one that I'm most proud of, because that feels like asking somebody to be like, well, which child is your favorite? Like
Sure.
They're all, I don't put out anything that I don't love. Like I want to make the kind of music that I enjoy listening to. Now as far as like the one that like means the most because it's personal, mental health is something I talk a lot about and I'm very like open about, and do a series of videos on my YouTube channel that's mental health chat and just talking about like different things having to do with mental health. And I had a song that I put out called 2007, and it was one that I like wasn't sure if I wanted to put out because it was really personal. It was just talking about like that feeling of wanting to give up, but like coming out of it. And it's one that a lot of people have really like connected to, and they said that it has helped them. And so that's really rewarding to know that like something that was very personal to me was something that other people could relate to. And so I would say probably that one.
I saw that one on the list, but I didn't listen to it yet. So I wrote it down so I can check it out. Yeah.
So you graduated.
Yes.
So one question I have is not really based in this. He's got his series of questions. Nerd culture is pretty big, pretty prominent in your music writing and in your life. I take it you're a big fan of a lot of it. If you could live in any franchise,
Harry Potter.
Okay.
No
question.
No doubt about it. I like to say that I'm like, I don't know that I'd say like a casual fan, but like I'm a fan of a lot of things. Like I am a ride or die for Harry Potter. Like I have my guest room in my house is Harry Potter decorated.
I like that.
As in like, and I was like, why would I get to the point where I'm like, can own a house? Why wouldn't I have it be Harry Potter themed? I'm like, this is the dream. So.
Oh, we're gonna have to have my wife talk to you about that, because she wants our house to be grown up, and meanwhile we're down here in my man cave. It's full of toys and posters and collectibles and junk like that.
I have a house. It's like, right in the suburbs, super like classy looking. The first thing when you walk in is we have Renaissance style pet portraits of all of like our cat and our two dogs, because we found that there's a like website online that will take like your pet and put them in like, you know, like a
I've seen that ad.
like Queen of England type of thing. That's the tone that we start at when you get to my house. And then my living room, if you like, and I feel like this is exactly who I am as a person, where it's like maybe from a distance you're like, this is like pretty classy, and then once you get closer you're like, okay, not really so much. Because we have all of these pictures that like one of them is like just this barn, but an artist went and put in like the ghosts from Mario Kart, like floating around the barn. Yes. We've got one where it's like this, you know, house on a lake, but then when you look closer, like Darth Vader and a stormtrooper are fishing and the Death Star's in the back.
I love it.
We have one where it's like this like pretty house, and then you see like the flying car from Harry Potter flying over it. So that's kind of our theme in our living room, is like, it looks at first glance like it's, you know, nice and tasteful, and then like you take a closer look and you're like, okay.
And it's even better than you thought when you look on the inside.
Exactly. We've got one where it's like He-Man in a teacup, like going down the river. Like it's, yeah.
Have you made it down to Universal to go to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter?
Yes.
How many times?
Just once.
Oh.
But I made it count. So we went to London and went to the Warner Brothers studio tour.
Oh wow.
Which was like, I mean,
life-changing.
That was one of the hardest I've ever nerded out in my life. Like I was just over the moon. And then that same year we went to Universal and got to do the Wizarding World. So
did
it was
you go to King's Cross
year.
while you were in London? Did you go to King's Cross?
Oh yeah.
You go to the platform? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We did a few years ago. We took a European vacation, my family and me, and we did London, and we did Dublin and Rome and Edinburgh, which
went there too.
Was Diagon Alley.
Yeah.
So I'm walking down what was Diagon Alley, and I'm looking at the shop faces, and the rest of my family, they've watched it, they love it, they have their robes of their houses, and my brother's probably a bigger Harry Potter fan than me as compared to like I am with Lord of the Rings. I say Lord of the Rings is a better universe. He says Harry Potter's a better universe. So really just like that. But I'm just quietly like misty-eyed walking down Diagon Alley, and I'm like, I grew up dreaming of this moment in a different light. Like I dreamed that maybe one day my letter would come and I would get to do this for real. And the letter still hasn't come. So I guess my next, venture is hopefully I'll become a Jedi. But, it
ain't easy being a muggle.
It's not easy being a muggle. It's not.
That is so true. No, I got to go to Edinburgh and do that walk too. And yeah, super cool. Did you go to the studio tour when you were there?
I didn't get to do the studio tour. We did King's Cross, London Bridge, which was underwhelming.
Yeah.
There's a whole song about it.
It's a bridge.
Yeah, it's just we've got bridges bigger in Tennessee than this thing.
There's a whole song about
it. Yeah. But we did that. I nerded out about Diagon Alley, and also the side street coming off of Diagon Alley is where Infinity War, Scarlet Witch, and Vision are attacked. That same little side street. So they had like little pictures from the scene and like in their window, like this is that window. And so that was really cool. But I would have to say Rome was probably the biggest. Sure. But we want to go back over to Europe, but with
the world being on fire and everything.
The world being on fire and all that. It's it'll fix itself eventually and
figure it out. But no, I totally recommend doing the studio tour, because like all of the detail. I mean, they have all of the like drawings of sets, and definitely do it with a guide, because the guide will tell you all of the like fun facts. Like the one that comes to mind first is in the last two movies, Voldemort starts with like dark green robes, and every time a Horcrux is killed, the robes get a little bit lighter.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, I was eating up. I mean, I was like front of the group, just like, oh my god, like tell me.
Wow.
It was so great.
So is it needless to say that there's a Harry Potter song in the works?
Well,
like
she's got
a whole anthology. Well, beside always, but like is there an anthology? Like, do you have more on the drawing board?
I don't know, cause like, I don't know. I don't think so, but never say never. Never say never. Always was a good one though.
It is very good. It's very good. It's I haven't gotten to listen to the Game of Thrones one yet because I'm still kind of sore about the ending of Game of Thrones. So
do you want to talk about it?
I mean, I feel like my therapist has heard it enough.
Sure.
That a big part of my life is sad because they ruined Game of Thrones in the finale. But you know, he's in the minority. He thinks it was all right. So.
I was okay with it.
It was okay. I mean, they were definitely. I mean, I think the one thing that I didn't agree with people being so unhappy and upset about was like Daenerys's
like it was out of nowhere that she was ruthless, but this was
like, dude, she was like a sociopath.
I don't have as much problem with that because we knew it was in her blood.
It was literally in her blood, and she talked about it the whole show. She was like, "I'll do whatever it takes. Don't cross me."
She was cold.
She's very cold.
So that was the thing that, you know, a lot of people were upset with, and I was like, but like, yeah, I thought the battle against the Nightwalkers was awesome. Like that was
really cool.
That episode was great. And then it was just kind of like,
I totally get where people were like underwhelmed and they wanted more. You know, I've accepted that. I get that, and I can understand. But like to say it ruined the whole thing for you, I'm just not in that mindset at all.
Yeah, it is interesting though that like, and I've seen people talk about it, how that was such a big pop culture thing, and then it just was done.
Kind of like fizzled.
People were so upset by the finale that they're like, all right, well, this is not even. We're not gonna like talk about this.
We won't talk about it.
Yeah.
I guess my last question is, if there's anyone listening to this, you know, whether they be young or whether they be, you know, in their 30s like us, what is, you know, some, you know, inspiration you would give them, some words of wisdom that if they're wanting to tackle this, or if there's some, you know, a dream of some sort that maybe they haven't followed yet, or maybe they're young and they're listening to this and they're thinking about, I'd like to try songwriting. I'd like to try learning an instrument. I'd like to become a singer. You know, what's one bit of inspiration you could give them?
What I like to say is, don't wait for things to happen to you. Make things happen for yourself. So I think a lot of people, when they do the you know, try and do the music thing, they like put out their music and they just kind of like sit back and hope that, you know, it like goes viral or whatever. And hard work, I mean, is the backbone for most success stories. And so, you know, you've got to have the drive and ambition to be able to put in the hard work behind the scenes too, especially if you're trying to do it by yourself. Like, it's a lot, but, you know, it's really rewarding when, you know, somebody asks you, so you do all of this stuff yourself? And you're like, yeah, I do. But yeah, I mean, that and just like, you know, in general, when it comes to like being an adult, like just enjoy the things that you enjoy. Like, I definitely had like points in time where I'm like, you know, am I like too old for this? But like, you love the stuff that you love. Like, just love it unabashedly, and, you know, just enjoy it.
Yep.
I'm glad that like it is, you know, such a celebrated thing to be a nerd about stuff.
Yeah.
Like for a long time, it was like, I feel like people didn't feel comfortable admitting some of the things that they enjoyed, and I love that people can be out in the open.
And now it's sort of the opposite. Like, you mean you don't like Star Wars? What's wrong with you? You know,
right.
like,
You
haven't seen every movie in the MCU?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Nerds rule the world.
Exactly.
It's been so great talking to you. We so appreciate your time. And as we let you go here, what's next for you? And is there anything that you want to plug for the listeners as we head out?
I mean, yeah. So I try and release the new song every month. I let August be more in the end stuff because I had so many cool things to be able to put out for that. But I have new songs already in the works and, you know, ready to go for September and October. Not fandom related songs, just songs. But the next big thing that I, you know, am hoping to be able to take somewhere is I've actually written a young adult book and have written a soundtrack of songs that goes with it. So you like, you know, you're reading the book and like, it'll be like, this is like where you should listen to this track. And
that's awesome.
Cause like, I mean, music just pairs so well with like
everything, really. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the scenes and shows and movies that like, you know, like the two characters getting together that they've been building it up to, like if there's not like a dope song underneath it, it does not have the same punch. Like, so yeah, so I'm really excited to see if I can, you know, get that out in the world because I'm pretty proud of it. So that's exciting. And yeah, I've got a list. You know, the Loki song, I'm hoping to get that done here in the near future. There's a couple more book-based.
Well, we got Witcher season 2 coming out.
I know. So that's exciting.
Let us know as soon as this book / like this project, because we want it.
We're all in.
I'm all in for that. That sounds so cool.
I'm trying to do trying to get a book agent. So we'll see. There's a lot of preliminary stuff to have to happen first, but fingers crossed. So
absolutely. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us.
For having me. Obviously, I love talking about this kind of stuff.
You're brilliantly talented, and I am very happy that we were reached out to and you got to come on the show. I've been looking forward to this. We're excited to have you on, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for Beth Crowley.
Thank you. Well, I appreciate it so much, you guys having me on, and happy to do it anytime. And you know, I could go on and on about this kind of stuff. So
maybe maybe when Witcher season 2 comes out, we'll hook back up again and have a little chat about that.
And just talk about it.
Yeah, that sounds great. I didn't get a chance to fully listen to because I know you had a couple episodes that were about Witcher season for like January 2020, and it was just funny starting to listen to it and just like you're just like, you know, oh, we're in the 20s, like
it's just the nerd in 20.
Yeah, just like, aw.
Early 2020 when we didn't know.
Yeah, remember that time that 2020 was supposed to be great because like Halloween was on a Saturday and like Cinco de Mayo was on a Tuesday, and I mean it
was actually going to be Taco Tuesday on Cinco de Mayo.
I know, man. We flew too close to the sun.
Yes,
Icarus effect strikes again.
This has been great. We're definitely going to have you back on the show when Witcher 2 comes out. We're excited for it. We're excited to see what else comes from Beth Crowley. We're big fans, and we can't wait to get the rest of the listeners infected with Beth Crowley.
Yeah.
Perfect. It's the kind of infection you don't have to quarantine for.
Exactly.
Right.
Thank you, Beth.
Thanks so much. Take care.